Hi dear friends, my name is Sergey Shevelev and today we talk about traditional Chinese tea ceremony or Gongfu Cha. And I will tell you all the details, but also I will break it down into principles and also show how to make a simpler version so you can even start now. The first, a little bit about the story. Actually, the ceremony, as we know now, it appears in Taiwan, it appears also in southern Fujian and northern Guangdong province. Maybe about a century ago, it started being spread about mainland China areas like southern Fujian and northern Guangdong. And later, after revolution in China, it mostly was preserved in Taiwan because all the culture in mainland China was a little bit under pressure, let me say, politely. And after it turns back to mainland after new opening of China in 90s, and we have all this kind of mixture of different cultures all together, even some Japanese influence, of course traditional Chinese influence, but also some modern things. And now we have pretty complex approach to the way of preparing tea, and also it has many different schools. So I will tell you something more basic and also more widely spread, but also you can see it in very different ways, and also you can see all different vessels, even more that I can show you today. The basic principle. In West we have this big ceramic teapot. It can be whatever material. Here we have porcelain teapot, 1.5 liters, I think, something like that. And we have 7 grams of tea and wait for 5 minutes or even for 10 minutes, whatever you want. And we just put it in our mugs. That's it. And this is the brewing. Unlike this, we have traditional Chinese method, also widely spread across all Asia now already, not only Asia. We have a small vessel, like small jisha clay teapot, preferably jisha, but also it can be any other material. It can be clay from different regions, or gaiwan as alternative. Cup with a lid, actually it's gaiza, it's a lid, and wan it's actually the bowl, right? It's also traditional method of brewing. After we just put the tea in a vessel and they make very short infusions multiple times. And this is the main difference comparing to all the other ways of brewing like what we have here in the West. All the rest, it's all the details. It's about the ceremony, the attentive brewing, how long do you brew, type of infusions, how much tea you put there, and so on and so on and so on, and how many vessels you use. If you go into very basic tradition, we can say that we just need maybe teapot, a pitcher, rundaobei, cup of furnace to equally share the tea, and cups. But all the rest, they need more for aesthetics, for enjoying the tradition, but also still it's practical, because the main practical part of this, it's a social communication. It also kind of show experience we have, and it's very important actually too. Also we have a teapot, the hot water. It can be thermos. Here we have preheated water. Often in traditional method of brewing we have also kind of a stove, maybe with charcoal, when you put a metal pot on it and you heat the water and you brew the pot. It's more beautiful, but often we just use thermos. It's also regular. Let me show you how it works. All the instruments I will explain to you. It starts from it can be gaiwan or some box with the tea. When you store the tea, if you use compressed tea, you can have a special vessel, like bamboo vessel or wooden vessel, when you can break the tea and put also in chahe. Chahe, actually it's a tea box. It can be also very different, it can be porcelain, metal, whatever. Here is a bamboo chahe, and they put with a special spoon. They have an instrument, and you take the tea with a spoon from the chahe or the box, put it into the tea box, and share the tea among the guests to let them inhale the aroma of the tea. After all the guests inhale the aroma, you make the preheating all the vessels to make them all, wash them all, and after you put with a special also stick tea to here. Mostly try to show to the guests the tea. You present the cups to the guests with the special tongs. You put it on a special stands for the cups. Here it is. It can be also very different material. It can be bamboo, it can be metal, it can be whatever. Also, the other vessel we can use, it's also a tea filter. Yeah, we can put it here on a pitcher, and when we brew the tea through the filter to avoid a small fraction comes into tea. Not for all tea types is necessary, but yeah, it's often used. And also it can be very different material. Now it's a metal one, but has millions of varieties. There can be additional some instruments, also like these instruments. Actually, it's very old, stylish thing. When you have a teapot with a very small hole, you can just put it here, and it helps to put the tea inside. So let me show how it works. We start with very beginning. We try to make all our moves very smooth. So we not hurry enough, we just do anything very smoothly. We introduce our moves to the guests, we tell something, the story about the tea. So we can firstly open our tea vessel and we take the spoon and take chaha. We take some dry tea leaves to the chaha. We measure the amount of tea depending on what type of vessel we have. Is it big pot or small, how many guests we have, and so on. After we finish, we close the lid. We have the tea we share with our guests. After guests return with the tea, we make relations with the tea. We just heat it up with our breathing and inhale the aroma of the tea. And after we can brew the tea. But first we need to wash our puer. We just pour hot water, and actually about the size of a pot here I have a medium size, about 130 milliliters, but it can be as small as like 60 milliliters for a single person, or 70, or something average like 90 or 100, and up to 300-400 milliliters for bigger groups, but still it's much smaller comparing to the most of the teapots we have in more traditional Western style. So we are ready to open up the tea, put the tea from chaha to the teapot with our special stick, and we make it visible for the guests. And we make the moves like this, not a single move but multiple moves to make it more beautiful, like flowing water. Here we can make a first infusion, wash the tea, or we can do this move. Because this heat up, we warm up the dry leaves. They're still dry, but a little bit become wet because the teapot was just heated up before, and we can inhale the aroma. It's different. It's very different. You can also offer it to the guests. The guests will inhale the aroma of the tea and see the difference comparing to very dry leaves and leaves which we have in a little bit pre-warmed teapot. Generally, the first infusion we don't drink because it's also a hygienic procedure, so we just wash the tea. And also, secondly, it's not enough fully open after the first infusion, so we not drink it. Also, you can drink it. Actually, when I try the tea, I drink it, but during the ceremony, the tradition is don't drink the first infusion. We just rinse the tea. We can put it on our teapot. Actually, about teapot, it's still kind of, now it's more decoration item, but before it was also a connection to Buddhism, to Taoism, when you kind of honor the guest or gods of your tea space. And if you try it yourself, you just understand that the first infusion isn't strong enough. This infusion we try to make very fast to avoid over infusing the tea which we don't drink. So we just pour it. We try to avoid any fast moves or moves like this. We never hear the sound. We try to make it like that. And also the cups. So the first infusion, we also try to equally share the tea. We take the tongs and we put all the tea on the teapots, and then make the next infusion, which we actually already drink. We can use already the tea filter. Actually, even the tea have a big leaves and not much of tea dust. You still can use a filter because it's more aesthetics. And pitcher or cup of fairness, Gundao, it's for equal sharing. If we have more of the guests, so it can be transferred to 3 guests or more. And now we can serve the tea. Also, we often use tea towels to make all our surfaces dry. Also, if some guests, like for example, some water on the table or some tea on the table, you try to make it dry as fast as possible. And also when you serve the tea, even with the tongs, you can just also make the bottom dry and after serve it to the tea stand. So this is how we done all the infusions. Actually, what's very important is the amount of infusions. Also, we try the tea, how it opens up, depending on the temperature of the water, the size of the vessel, how much tea you put, the time of exposition, also for sure type of tea, because sometimes it's preferable to have cooler water or other vessels like gaiwan, which is for more faster infusions. So there are many aspects, and each time tea can be a little bit different because also water quality is very important. So it must be not very hard water, not many mineral water, not too soft water, so it's something balanced. All these details we can go much in a deep. Slowly you will learn how to play with that, but the main principles is this. How can simplify it? Actually, if you talk about simplification of a ceremony, it's often called in China pin cha, or just trying the tea. And for this, you not necessarily need tea tray. Even now we have modern traditional way also of brewing, which is called Gongfu or dry brewing. When instead of the tea tray, chaban, when they have inside all this plastic cold holder for water and for teas, leaves and so on, we have just some fabric or bamboo kind of material. When we just make all our ceremony, instead of tea tray, we make it on this. We just put it here. And instead also the same for pitcher, and it's more minimalistic and actually a little bit more, let me say, Japanese aesthetics. And now we often see it in China, maybe in modern tea places. Most of the time we don't have tea tray. It's more kind of, some youngsters think it's kind of outdated even, but I still use it often, both this and that, and plates and any kind of fabrics, because Chinese tradition, actually comparing to Japanese ceremony, it's not so strict. There are many ways of presenting the tea, but the basic principle is a small vessel, accurate infusions, attention to amount of tea, the temperature of water, the time exposition to make tea sweet. This is most important, so practical side behind. As soon as you more focus on aesthetics, presentation, it's mostly, you can find it in tea houses and masters who do a ceremony on purpose, and it's not so often you can meet it in just a regular tea drinking among regular Chinese people who like the tea, or just tea lovers worldwide who also love the tea. This is why we have so many vessels which simplify all this brewing. The first for sure is gaiwan, as I told, and when you have just gaiwan, pitcher and cups, that's it. Or even like vessels like this, which called also Gongfu pot, plastic, let me say, teapot inside. I will show you how we just put hot water there, and we can also put some tea leaves in this vessel. Imagine we just brew the tea, and while we see the color, so it's brewed, we just press the button and we have our tea here, and we just also share it in the cups immediately. So very simple. The method of brewing actually also the same. It's not more difficult than just a regular ceramic pot, it's even smaller. Actually, I still compare more traditional method. Even during traveling, I still have this, just smaller version, or like more small piece of bamboo, and I just make my brewing on any place, wherever I go. The proper ceramics open up tea better. So for some fermented teas, for sure, it's better to have ceramic clay pot, and yeah, more enjoyable to inhale aroma from the glass pitcher and drink from good porcelain cups. It's also very practical actually, because as soon as you have it, it's different atmosphere, different communicational space across your tea ceremony and tea, let me say, preparation. And it's not so complicated as you can see from very beginning. I really do recommend this method of brewing, because you will see how much it's different. And for sure it's for good quality loose leaf tea. So if you can prepare tea bags, this method it will not help you to make tea better. So for sure it's for good quality loose leaf tea, not necessarily Chinese. Also for Japanese tea, you can use just a little bit different vessels, but still same method for whatever Georgian, Turkish, whatever tea you drink. But still, if it's loose leaf tea and you want to make it perfect, the Gongfu Cha method will open up it perfectly. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, please share this video, and I really appreciate your comments below. If you leave some comments or some questions, I will feel more, and please support the channel with subscription. Thank you very much, and have a nice day, and drink good tea.